Good day, fellow deal makers. Welcome to the Deal Scout. Now, if you're a deal maker, an investor, and you're buying stuff and you're in the technology world, you probably have used a smartphone and you probably have used some app in your life. We're going to have a conversation with a guy who's built a crazy amount of apps and who invests in them too. So we're going to hear some, the good, the bad, what to invest in, how to look at apps, especially if you're a VC group looking to make investment decisions, you probably want to pay attention because he's going to give you some insights on what to look for. So with that, AJ from Tampa, Florida, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I've been an entrepreneur. The first app that I was thinking of building was in 2012. It was a fitness technology app. I completely fell on my face, but it got me into venture capital and all sorts of cool opportunities. But apps have been around for a while. How long have you been in the app building space?
We have been in that space for more than 10 years now.
Awesome. 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 All right. So why don't you give us a little idea about who is AJ?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would describe myself as a technology strategist, whether it's just online marketing or whether it's working on uh, apps, whether it's launching an app or rebranding a piece of software. You can definitely talk to me about making sure that you are getting the biggest bang for your buck, and we obviously have a team who can do the job for you as well.
Okay. You're going to have to give us an idea of how you got into this game, right? So give us an idea of your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah. So around 16 years ago, we started just a online marketing company. We were just cranking out websites, and that's what we did, all day long. And then we saw the opportunity or saw the bigger opportunity where uh, people have needs for all different types of platforms, software they need in their business, whether to increase their internal processes, make them better, or make certain platforms as lead magnets for lead gen purposes, right? So that's how we kind of got reeled into it. And the first website, and this is how it kind of how we got into it. The first website we created, first or second, I would say that maybe the second or third, I can't even remember. But back in the day, it was an e-commerce store, and that did not have something like WooCommerce, right? Or BigCommerce, or any of these e-com platforms, or Shopify. I mean, this I'm talking about back in 2006 time period. There was literally nothing. If you wanted an e-commerce platform, you had to code it straight HTML. You just have to hard code it yourself, and that's how you build e-com platforms. And we did it. And we not only just did the hard coding of the shopping cart software. We even got into the reporting piece as well. We even integrated an accounting piece. So there were, I think, we used some bits and pieces of open source stuff. However, it was just brutal hard coding of ecom uh, software, which kind of led us to getting into the app development and kind of seeing the bigger picture there and seeing the bigger need. And
Mm-hmm.
also we thought that it would be great if we can help out a lot of folks who are out there who have this need, and most people don't even know where to go, where to find an app developer, whether they are building something for themselves or whether they are building it to sell. So that's where we thought that let's get into this world too, because obviously we have the skill set and we have the knowledge, we have the experience. So let's help a bunch of people out.
Awesome, man. So you guys started in the website, and then you started to see a need for um, apps coming up, right? Because the
Yeah.
first, there wasn't WooCommerce, there wasn't Shopify, there wasn't all these, big com places. So you
Yeah.
guys were building that, and then you started getting into apps. So that kind of paved the way for you. If you had to add up how many apps you guys might have built and launched, how many would you say in the last 10 years or so?
I would say counting the apps, uh, whether it's progressive web apps, meaning that these are not true apps which sits in the iTunes or sits in Google Play Store, but these are actual web apps. I would say over 70, um, and some apps takes more than a year to build because they are so complex, right?
Yeah.
So there is so it's funny you asked that question, Josh. We recently bid on an app, and the scoping, just the scoping process took us 6 months
Wow.
because it's a gigantic piece of software, and we started last December, and we just completed the scoping with the client actually early June, so early in this month. So it took us 6 months. I mean, when I say it took us 6 months, it actually took both parties 6 months to put it together. Obviously, they had other priorities come up, and then they had to go and do those things and come back to it. So we were very patient with that. But some apps takes a long time just to kind of conceptualize, to figure out whether it's a good idea or not, because you don't want to spend a bunch of money and at the end uh, think that, oh, I spent all this time and effort and money, and it's a complete failure, right? And you don't want that.
Yeah. Now, how do we know? So, how do I know if it's a good idea, if it's worth going and investing money? Because, if it's taking, 6 months to scope out a big project and maybe a year to build it, an incredible amount of capital and time is being invested in this. How do I know when I'm in the shower and I come up with another idea, right? Another idea from this
Yeah,
visionary guy. How do
yeah.
I know if it's worth going in and doing the next step?
It's a very simple answer. A lot of people will think that, oh, we gotta put this into a dashboard or a metric and metrics, and figure things out. It's a very simple answer. The way you will know whether it's a good idea or not is if others need it. If you can do a survey and see whether others would need something like what you are envisioning an app to be, it's never the situation where you want an app and you build it. You always have to ask the question, would others actually download this app and keep it in their phone and start using it? So if the answer to that question is yes, then I would say yes, you should go ahead with building that app. But if the answer is I don't know, then don't do it. And I ask this question from everyone who wants to work with us. I'll ask them, who came up with the idea? Did you come up with the idea?
Yeah.
Right? And just get a straight answer. And the answer, I would say 90% of the time is, yeah, I came up with the idea. And now then I'll ask, did you run it by your family, people in your close circle? How about, did you talk about it, with your friends and, get an idea about what they thought? Or did they have any objections about it? I would get into all of that because from even if you are just hired, even if you don't partner up, if you are just hired to work on the app, we want to make sure that no one wants to exit this process 6 months down the line or 3 months down the line, right? We want someone to be committed to it, and if someone exits halfway through it, then it's our loss as well as their loss, right? So
Yeah.
we don't want that.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of ideas, and I'm sure the visionaries listening in, or the investors, or the heavy idea people, the inventors, the innovators. Ideas come all the time,
Right.
and talking with people about it and going, is this idea a good idea or a bad idea? Do you need it? Would you pay for it? Would you use it? Right? There's questions to ask. One of the As I was early in my entrepreneurial stages, I was nervous to talk about the idea because I didn't want anybody to steal it. I had this
Mm.
greatest idea in the world and I kept my mouth shut about it, and I invested my pension and I went all in. And then when I tried to build it, I couldn't. So what advice do you have for other innovators, inventors, and visionaries in regards to talking about your idea or working with a group like yours?
Yeah, I would say that, we all want to be very protective of our ideas, right? We want to, everyone wants to, sign an NDA before they talk about it. And we have actually done very successful deals we have partnered up with folks who didn't even need an agreement. I mean, they were like, let's go, and I'm pretty sure a lot of folks who are listening in, there are folks like that too. And what I would say is, if you have an idea, trust me, no one's gonna, in this day and age, there's a very little chance of someone stealing your idea and actually executing on that idea.
Totally.
Very slim chance, because anything which you can ever imagine is already, I mean, it's out there. You can just, like, a lot of stuff which you think is cool is already out there in form of a platform, in form of some kind of a SaaS play where you can, pay something monthly and get your uh, basically your account and start using it. But but when you have a original idea, taking that idea to the world is not easy. So if you think that someone can just because you talk about an idea over drinks on Friday evening with someone, if you think that they're going to go and steal that idea and build a million or $1 billion business, that I would say is not happening, because going from an idea to actual execution is not an easy path. And because you can obviously build that platform, then there's marketing around it too, right? So I mean, you understand marketing, and that is not for the faint of heart, right? So that really takes some guts to execute on it and make that idea a reality. And the other thing is, no one understands the amount of investment you have to make, not just financially, but emotionally, your life wise, work wise, to get this idea to reality, right? So if someone thinks that, oh, I'm going to steal this guy's or gal's idea and go build this, they are, I don't know, they are not living in this real world.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that I had to learn that the hard way, and the more experience that I got through Hard Knocks, and the more experienced groups I was working with, is people talked about ideas very freely, and they would validate it with other investors, other people
Yeah.
who had the money and the resources to run with these ideas, but not the bandwidth or the desire or the
Yeah.
energy, right,
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah. A lot of people will, when when you talk about these ideas with your investor friends, right? And I'll also say that when you speak about ideas, you want to talk about ideas with the right kind of people, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to just run this by your cousin Winnie and all these other folks who probably have no clue about what your vision is. But if you talk about your entrepreneurial friends, they will probably want to not steal the idea. They probably want to partner up with you. If you need money or resources, they probably want to give that to you. They probably don't want to even build that for you, or build against you, or run against you. But they probably want to just partner up, and they will also try to see where you are with the process, right? If you are in a place where it makes sense for them to partner up, then they will say, yeah, let's partner up. Here's capital, or here are my resources. Feel free to use it, and let's partner up. But I don't think anyone's gonna just try to steal your ideas.
Yeah. Talking with the right people about your ideas is so vital. Let me give you a
Yeah.
few examples of mistakes that I made, right? Every single idea in my head and in my notebook, I would talk with my wife about it. She's like, okay, I'm done with your freaking ideas. Go to work, make
Right.
money, pay our bills, right? So that was
Yeah.
one mistake I made.
Yeah.
But then I saw this guy and I knew him. We went to church together.
Hmm.
Super successful, ran a very successful manufacturing company. And I was
Yeah.
asking him about an early stage technology company. He didn't have the expertise, but he brought his manufacturing to that, and it just wasn't a fit. I should have been
Right.
talking to people like you who are
Right.
technologists, who
Mhm.
know how much it costs to build it, who
Right.
see how to grow it, right?
Yeah.
Um, when when you're sitting across from an entrepreneur, let's just say I'm pitching an idea to you. I've got money, I've got time, I got desire, I've got all the boxes checked. and I'm ready to go on a nap. I've got time too, right?
Yeah.
Everything on my side is a green light, but you're looking at it and you're going, no, that's not a good idea, and here's why. What are some of the things that you would see if I'm talking to the right person that
Yeah.
you would talk me out of it, even if I have the money and everything else lines up?
Yeah. I would say the number one thing I would look for is whether the entrepreneur has done his or her own research
Mm-hmm.
to see whether there, what kind of competition is out there. If you want to build another CRM system, um, just because it has this one little feature, I would probably say I don't know, because another CRM system can add that very easily
Mm-hmm.
and just be your competition like overnight, right? So make sure that you do your research, make sure that you do a deep dive, and it's very easy to do, right? Just pull up Google and start looking up, and you will come across all kinds of systems which are out there. And then also have an idea about what's the expectation in terms of the implementation cycle. And let me explain that a little bit. Implementing an idea which is gigantic can actually not be the best thing to do as you are rolling out a new platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
Scale it down, find what your minimum viable product is, the MVP. Get your MVP into get the structure around the MVP. Make sure you know that what is your MVP. So we talk with a lot of entrepreneurs who have this grand vision of where they want to take their idea, and we actually help them to scale it down, and then basically have chunks, version 1 MVP, version 2, version 3, and any subsequent versions, right? So when you do that, that helps out. Now if someone says no, I want all this to be in one, and I want my launch to have all of this, we will caution them, saying that you might run into issues when you are trying to roll this out, because it's such a big project. And what we have seen from our experience is, as we are building, as they see the visual of this coming together, they get sidetracked. They want to work on something else. So that's number two. So scale down your vision and see what are the core features you want to implement first.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one I would say is, well, how would you make money, right? So is there a way for you to make money? You might have a freemium version, but where is the premium? How would you make money? So we'll look into that, and there are different ways of doing it, but we want to see a clear path for that. So if someone can just target those three things, I think they are going to be in a good place when it comes to a successful app development process with any app developer.
Those are great things. Like, when I started writing out my idea, I I was starting in my notebook and I filled up the notebook fast. But then I went and I actually bought a huge poster board and I
Yeah.
wrote out my idea. This was before, they had tablets and all these
Yeah.
other things. But the idea was massive. So when I was doing scoping for it, the
Mm.
project was crazy. Now that because I spent crazy amount of time adding every single feature and I
Right.
priced myself out of an app very
Right.
quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas the core value, the minimal viable product, was very tiny. I could have launched that easily. I made that mistake. So that's really good input, and that's comes from experience, right?
Right.
You've seen
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. All right, this is going to be a personal question. If I
Okay.
grabbed your phone right now and I took a look at your phone, are you an Apple or an Android guy?
I'm an Android guy.
All right, so I got it. So we grab your
you
Android
you
phone.
can't ask that question from a technology guy.
Right, exactly. That was my expectation. I expected that. But I clicked on screen time and I saw which app you use the most. You can't say YouTube, you can't say, my contact list. What app that is from a a developer or someone that's not a huge corporation, which app do you use the most?
So I can say Audible.
Ah, okay. You can say Audible. Okay, give us the top three things then, maybe.
You mean top three things I like about Audible?
Oh no, no. Maybe top three apps. So you named a big company. Okay, Amazon picked up Audible and they're doing okay, right?
Yeah.
What about some smaller apps?
Let me take a quick look. I think I need to just like look at it real quick. Ooh, it's always the big guys, whom I use the most. But um, there is an app called UCut Video Editor. It's a small
Yukon.
company.
Okay.
UCut Video Editor.
Okay.
So to edit quick videos, things like that, very easy to use. So I definitely recommend using those guys. And another small app is called Tiny Scanner, great for scanning documents. I've actually found it easier than using the actual scanner
Yeah.
to, to scan any documents. Um, yeah, those I would say, so along with Audible, those two.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Another personal question. In Audible, what book are you listening to right now?
The book I'm listening to right now is a very
He's
interesting
smiling
book.
right now. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's 1 million followers by Brendan Kagan.
Richard. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, yeah,
Super cool. So it's a
yeah.
book about creating followers and essentially building something of influence. Is that right?
Yeah, building influence. And it's a book, how he builds 1 million followers within 30 days. So obviously, I mean, he's really nobody. He's not Taylor Swift. He's not bad, but he has worked on Taylor Swift, so he says that he's nobody, but anyone can build the followers
Cool.
if you really do the right thing.
Okay. So when it comes to apps, we'll go back to apps, right? So, we were looking at a deal together and you're like, hey, Josh, you haven't done a deep dive. The scope is massive. The competition's there. The competition could easily add your one feature, Zoho, Pipedrive,
Yeah,
Salesforce. They could easily add this, CRM that adds your picture to it or whatever the small feature is, right?
sure.
So you talk some people out of deals, right? Or you advise them, hey, you might want to consider something else. When someone's sitting across from you, let's say you and I are having coffee in Tampa, right?
Hmm.
And the
Yeah.
perfect deal comes across and you're like, not only is that a good idea, but I'm taking my personal money out of my pocket as an investor and going, I'm in with you. What kind of thing makes it a good idea enough where you would invest in it?
I think the best way to explain this is actually using an example, right? So we had the opportunity to work on, and I'll bring up two examples, the same ones which I shared with you before we hit record. Um, there is a company who creates podcasts, helps folks like you to basically roll out podcasts. So they hired us to write what we see as the Zillow of podcasts. So every podcast in the future
Mm-hmm.
will have a score like the Zestimate, which will basically rank your podcast among the 2.3 million podcasts out there. So they hired us to create that platform. And when I looked at it, once it's created, we created the player as well. When I look at it, I know it's going to be such a hit because the founders already have a very successful business around podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives that gives us assurance that when we invest in something like that, it's gonna go really far, because it's all about the passion and the experience the founders have, right? So
Right.
whenever I sit down with them and for dinner or drinks, I know that they are very passionate about taking it to the next level. They were on Republic and did it the right way. So I took personal money and invested in that company because I know that they are going to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
And then another deal which didn't happen that way was we started working on a platform where you can sell your boat or your $400 million yacht on this platform. It's a yacht listing software, and then there is also the yacht closing software as well. So this is going to go against the 800-pound gorilla in the market right now, where once it's launched, and we are very excited about the opportunity there. And I'm a 50% partner of that business. When I saw it, I saw the opportunity. We looked at the uh, the subscription plans the other co-founder put together, and the network she has within the yacht business, not just her network, because she has generational network. This is the most important and interesting part for me. Her mom was a yacht closer as well. She worked for for a company as a yacht closer, and they have all kinds of connections in the yachting industry. Mm-hmm. So that really kind of was a kind of a dead giveaway for me, that this is a great opportunity to get in. And we just invested in that because we see the opportunity. So some of these decisions are made by getting really close on calculations. Some calculations based. Obviously numbers are very important, but more than the financials, sometimes what matters most is the numbers which are beyond the financials, which is the numbers you see in the future, because it's the numbers of your network, right? It's the numbers of the quality of your network, things like that. So I would say, those are also very important considerations when it comes to making the decision on investing in any kind of app out there.
Yeah, super awesome. Here are some nuggets that I'm repeating what you shared.
Yeah.
They had for you to make an investment personally out of your own pocket.
Yeah.
I can't even talk. I do this for a living. I can't even talk. Personal expertise. They have industry knowledge. They have tribal knowledge of what it does and who it serves. They have a passion or a desire for it. It's some way disruptive. Your case, it's going after the 800-pound gorilla.
Yeah.
They have it's surrounded around a massive network. So when they do potentially launch this, or when they already have a network of people that they know and that they've served for a long time, for generations.
Right.
And then you're looking at numbers beyond financials, right?
Yeah.
I want you to explain that a little bit. Oh, did I miss anything from that?
No. You're good.
Okay.
So yeah, I can answer that question.
Yeah. So the numbers behind the financials, right? So I'm looking at the app. I go, okay, customer acquisition costs. This is what the average, value of each user is going to do. This is how much each transaction is going to make me. And I'm looking at the financials and I'm going, this looks pretty sound business. And you're saying, well, there's numbers beyond the financials. What are those that I'm missing?
Yeah. So going back to that example of the network, right? It's really hard to put a dollar amount on your network, right? There's a saying that your network is your net worth. Mm-hmm. But when you have generational network, then that it's very easy to acquire customers, just because only one person gets to know about it, and it spreads like wildfire. And yes, it is connected to customer acquisition cost. However, if we think about it, if it is okay, my customer acquisition cost is based on the marketing dollars I spend, that does not apply to this, because when one gets to know about it, especially in the yachting industry, it's very big, and at the same time it's very small.
Hmm.
And that's because if you ever go on a on a yachting expedition, right? You say you go in Alaska. Next week you come to Florida, the yachting people in Florida will know that you went on a yachting expedition in Alaska, right? Because it's, again, it's very big, at the same time it's very small. Everyone talks, everyone talks to each other. So your customer acquisition cost will be very low when you have that kind of network. So knowing that you can tap into these things easily is a is a big thing.
Yeah.
It's really a big thing, because at the end that it's gonna bring down your marketing costs.
Yeah, but AJ, I'm sure you've heard this before. If I build it, they will come, right? I'm not even worried. People are, I'm just going to build this thing. I'm going to submit it to Apple and Google, and people are just going to line up to sign up, right?
Yeah.
Have you experienced that before?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like on a daily basis, right? Everyone thinks that, I mean, it's not even from app world, people think that, when you build a website that people, your phone will start ringing, right? That's really not the case. When it comes to a website, you got to push everything proactively to Google, right?
Hmm.
That's how you are going to get those phone calls or inquiries coming through. The same thing goes when it comes to creating an app. I would say that whatever your whatever your spend or your budget on creating an app, leave at least two-thirds of that, or I would say, two-thirds more for the marketing,
Yeah.
because that's how much you would want to, spend in getting the word out. Because if I use that example of the yachting platform, you'll have to go to yacht shows, right? You'll have to go to boat shows. You'll have to resource the marketing department to reach out to all the marine brokers, right? So
Hmm.
that's a ton of work that needs to be done to get your word out. uh, Things will not automatically happen just because you build it.
Yeah. All right. So, and I think we've all experienced that some way where we've invested in a website or built a podcast or, we built something and then we sat around, okay, when's my phone going to ring? And it didn't, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying add on another two-thirds, add on more, because it's going to cost to acquire a customer. To get someone to one day open up the Apple Store, Google Store, download it, right? There's a cost for that acquisition. What
Yeah.
are some of the, give us some tips and tricks for other fellow investors out there building apps or investing in apps or founders? What are some tips and tricks on customer acquisition?
um, I would say that podcasting is a big one. Get on podcasts. It's a good one. It's a big one. Get on podcasts, and give a shout out about what you're working on. Talk more about the features and functions and how it can serve the community. Um, you can obviously do a search engine optimization,
Mm-hmm.
um, hire a marketing company to do your Google ads, retargeting, and also select the social media channels you want to go after very carefully. Just don't select, oh, I'm going to do Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Don't do that. Just make it numbers driven, right? And also think, where your customers are hanging out. Are they hanging out in TikTok all day, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to sell a $40 million yacht. Are they on TikTok? Maybe they are, but know that, right? For
Mm-hmm.
sure. And then when it comes to marketing expenditure or marketing spend, micro testing, I can't stress the importance of micro testing. You want to make sure that you hire a firm who are big on micro testing. It's not about, just because you have a $10,000 budget a month, that or $1 million budget a month, they are not just saying, okay, let's blow through this $1 million so we get paid. That's not the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have a team who will micro test for probably a month or a month and a half to make sure that they know exactly the customer journey or the potential customer journey when they see that ad, right? And which ad converts the best. So micro test the heck out of it, and that will get you the biggest bang for your buck. So if I summarize, get on podcasts, very easy to do, right? And then hire a team who can run a successful Google campaign, whether you are doing organic or whether you are doing PPC, pay-per-click, retargeting, or both. And third one is when it comes to social media, don't go after the what's new and shiny and bright out there, but always do your due diligence and pick one where your customers are hanging out and go after that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. 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 So, in your experience as, a technologist over here building apps for other people, investor investing in other apps that you find interesting and that you see promise,
Mhm.
what does the future look like for you and your group? Like where are your interests heading?
Yeah, so we are uh, we are looking for more deals. We are looking for better opportunities. That's where our future is heading. Uh, we come across the way we grow is we by partnering up with other companies. So that's where we are heading. We are always looking for opportunities. We're always looking for folks who have great ideas where we can help them to execute them and even partner up. And that's where we are heading.
Super cool. Um, I'm looking on your LinkedIn and it says a passionate father of two. Have your kids learned how to build apps, or have you built apps for your kids or any family members yet?
The as is actually my son has hirethiskid.com, and so this is something which we did pre-COVID, and he's 11 now. My daughter is she just turned 5. So my son before COVID will go to local businesses in Tampa, and he will do a video review of that business, and he'll get paid $100, which is great money, right? And it's better than mowing lawns or running lemonade stands.
Yeah.
And we have a YouTube actually, he has 4 YouTube channels. He has one for that. He has a travel YouTube channel. He's a musician as well. He has written his own songs. These are published there on iHeartRadio. We've done uh, like music videos. I welcome anyone to check him out. Ashane Aluthwala, Ashane Aluthwala, my last name Aluthwala, and there's a really cool song called Island of Dreams, which we shot everywhere in Tampa, into Fort DeSoto. It has this pirate theme where it starts with a kid dreaming and like falling asleep at his desk, and
Yeah.
in his dream he's a pirate and he finds treasure. So it was a fun video shoot. So
And it's called Islet. So we could check out his song that he produced
yeah,
on uh, where
YouTube. It'll be on YouTube, Spotify. I mean, all kinds of channels. But it's the video is obviously on YouTube.
Oh, I
Island of
found
Dreams.
it on Spotify just now.
Okay.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'll check that out after we get off the call. So you're
Okay.
building an influencer and you're building a technologist, right? That's super
Right.
cool, man. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question, right? So all day long technology and playing with your Android phone and helping other people build, technology stuff. What do you do for fun? Right? What's something that like a personal interest of yours that you're like, you know what, I really dig this. This is how I maybe unplug from technology for a bit.
Yeah. The way I do that is actually I'm really good at grilling.
Really?
I make some mean ribs.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we lived in the Wichita area in Kansas, I got the secret recipe from a Kansas City Barbecue Society judge to make ribs. So I
Mm.
make some mean ribs. I get the rib rub still from Oklahoma, and get the barbecue sauce from Wichita. And yeah, I mean that's. I mean, I actually grilled last night as well. Made some pork medallions. So that's my jam.
So you're a really good cook. So next time we're hanging out in Tampa,
We are doing it.
we're having a grill party. I love it.
We are doing it.
I
We are
love
eating
it.
barbecue.
Love it, love it, love it. So AJ, as you're building this company, what's you're looking for, you guys are looking for more interesting deals to do for other people and maybe some other deals to partner up with. Um, is there like a, and maybe this is some inside information you could share with me. Is
Yeah,
there like an app or something that you have in your head that you're like, why doesn't someone build this? It might not be me, but someone
right,
really needs to fix this problem.
right. And I will actually share the perfect app for everyone listening in, right? Because you all get ideas pitched to you, right? And you don't know whether what this company is claiming is true or not, right? So just imagine this. We have a system where their accounting system is plugged in, where their bank account is plugged in. You get a dashboard. It's a really a EOS system where you see what their numbers are by yourself. They don't have to submit those numbers to you. You can go and check the numbers at 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday, right? The real numbers. And you can check the numbers for last year, the previous year, last month. You can check all of that because all these numbers are plugged in, because it's very easy when you go to masterminds, when you go to these circles where people get on stage and claim that, oh yeah, I got, I did $10 million worth of sales last year, or I sold this property for 230 million last month, and I had the biggest score ever. Prove it. Right? I'm not saying that I'm not trusting you, but I'm just saying prove it. Pull your numbers, put it on display. We gotta create a system where everything is plugged in, and when we have that, then um, deal making becomes very easy. And whoever who has that system will be able to put it on like subscription basis and
Hmm.
sell it over to sell it to anyone.
Yeah.
um, so that I think that would be a cool app to have for all those deal makers out there.
Yeah, I think that's super cool. I love transparency. Like when I'm looking at a deal or when our, other groups are asking for a deal, like transparency is like number one thing, especially when it comes to numbers, right? Like we
Yeah,
want to see numbers. We want to see that. So if it's a way that it does it automatically, that's a pretty good idea. Hey, maybe we should talk about that app. Maybe we'll do something like that. During this
yeah,
interview, um, I want you to give a place where, for people out there, they're like, hey, I got this perfect idea for an app, or our business needs an app, or maybe I want to invest in some apps, but I need some help and I need some partners who could help me build that
yeah,
out, right? What's a good
yeah.
place for other deal makers to connect with you and maybe talk apps and investing?
Absolutely. So anyone can go to aja360.com. That's aja360.com. There is a button called contact. Scroll all the way to the bottom, hit save contact. If you do this on your phone, you'll be able to save my contact details to your phone, and just feel free to reach out to me. My hand is out there, so feel free to reach out to me and set something up, and we can talk about anything you want to talk about.
Awesome. AJ, if we were hanging out, we were having a barbecue and I get to invite some friends, right? Like, but they have to be like a band or a musician or an actor, right?
Yeah.
All right. They could be alive or they could be from the past. Who would you want to hang out with? Whether it's a musician or an actor, who's someone that you're like you have stardom about that you would love to have at your barbecue and cook for them?
Dave Matthews Band.
Ah, so good. All
Yeah,
right. We
yeah.
will definitely have some Dave Matthews playing when we grill out. Awesome. What's your favorite Dave Matthews Band song, by the way? D&B song.
uh, Nothing comes to my mind right now,
I put
but
you on the
yeah.
spot.
I like them all.
Does your son says your son's a musician? Does he play any DMB on his guitar?
No, he does not. He's not there, but he's actually just learning the riff for Hotel California.
Yeah.
Just the hard part. He's learning that. He's going through it right now. So yeah, I mean, he can play the song and sing it, but he's trying to get that piece nailed down. That's kind of his what he's trying to accomplish this summer.
Awesome. 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 Well, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. Are there any questions that I should have asked you that I completely screwed up and did not ask you?
No, you did great. I think we covered it all.
Awesome, man. Well, you did great too. So let's do this, fellow deal makers in the audience. If you want to connect with our guests to talk about apps or investing, all their contact information, all of AJ's contact information will be in the show notes below. So you could connect with him directly. Say, hey, I heard you on the Deal Scout, and I've got an app idea, or I want to invest in something and I need your help with it. So reach out to our guests and say thanks for being on the show, and find a way to do a deal with them. That's a purpose and mission of the show. Now, if you are working on a deal or looking for a deal and want to talk about it here on the show, head over to thedealscout.com, fill out a quick form, maybe get you on the show next. Till then, we'll talk to you all on the next episode. See you guys.